it pumped into today. So basically just the opposite of what happened last week, where we started the week with a dump, or in this case we are starting it with a pump. So in our last week analysis, we we mapped out this area on BTC, this this other block, which I expected price to hold, but we did hold a little bit. Just that the pump was not sustainable enough. Right, we had a small move from here to 113k area. I was hoping that we would trade towards, yeah, at least 115, on 115 area, 115k area. But unfortunately, the BS had more strength, and we had this whole other block invalidated, right? But on the bright side, we had our Asta setup workout. Let me quickly check that. So the area we mapped out for Asta, let me see. What the fuck are you taking? Okay. So last week we had this. Where is that place? Okay, yeah. Last week we had this plan mapped out during the video, or on the video rather. Right, where I said if we can have almost tap into 1.92, sorry, 1.29 area, I would love to take a long. This was where when I did the video, somewhere around here, and I was hoping that we do another stab into it, and fortunately for us, we had that stab. And so basically, from that video, if you are taking this setup based on the explanation I gave in the video, you would have made at least 5 hours, 5 hours, depending on how long you hold the trade. Maybe even 6 hours. Maybe even 6 hours. Let me see. Set the invalidation below the box. Alright, so okay, I think 5 hours until it got onto 6. So something around 3, 4, 5 hours. That's that. So I still think Master still moves, because dexes are what I play now. So there's still room for Asta to move. So I still think we trade, at least tag this high at 2.5 or 2.4, then possibly $3. But I'll come back to that later. But we have this quick setup that I just spotted. We have this, I think we have the H12. We have an H12 setup here. Then we have this H1, H12 other block, then H1 other block, which this is currently containing, right? Down candle up, move that broke market structure, retest. Then, so this, if it's going to move, it should move from here, right? It shouldn't come back anywhere below this low. So if it's going to run, it should run from here. We'll see how that pans out. So I took this on my account. I'll see how it pans out. If I get stuff that's just -1 hour, but I'll still come back to explain this setup later on. So let's go back to BTC and see what we have for this week. So now that we have a pump, all right, what's next? What happens from here? So I think there's still room for price to go up, at least to trade into, at least for us to trade and tag this box. All right, so come and trade into anywhere around 112,700 area, right? So this box basically is a bearish order block, more like a supply area, or we call it in simple terms a resistance area, right? So this area is a trouble area basically, right? If we can, two scenarios, pretty easy. Two scenarios if we can. One is, if, where's my pencil to, okay. So the first is the two scenarios I'm looking at, the bullish and the bearish scenario. Right. Change this thing color. So the bullish scenario will be for price to flip this box, flip this bearish order block to a bullish breaker. At least for we to have a H12 close, candle close above 113,910 area, right? That's the bullish scenario. Anything other than that would most likely reject when we come into this box, right? But if we can have a close above it, then that paves way for price to trade higher. So that's pretty much clear. So above above the box is bullish, and anywhere stalling around the box means bearish. It is above 113,960. An H12 candle close above 113,960 area is good for the market and good for upside, more upside move. But other than that, if it doesn't happen, then most likely we trade lower. Probably come and tag 107k area again or 105 area. Right, so basically this other block here, this H12 other block here, right? Because it has remained untapped. We have this liquidity just right above the box. So if we reject here, then most likely we are coming to clear all of these lows and tap into this bullish order block at 107, 105 area. But if we can flip this other block, that is have that H12 close above it, then that's good for the bullish case. So that's that on bits is pretty much simple. But in the meantime, I still think we see some push at least into this box before anything happens. So before that happens, I think we are good to go to trade halts, right? Because if this one stalls here, some more to fly up crazy number of percentage. So that's that for BTC. So let me look at Ethereum. There's another thing I mentioned during the last video where I mentioned Ethereum trading towards a weekly demand area, right? Where I said if we lose this area, if we lose this area at 417, 170 area, then most likely we tag the weekly order block, which is here. Why the fuck are you taking long? So which is here, and that was what happened. We had price tap into the weekly order block or weekly demand area, whichever it is you call it, and bounced right off it. So as long as we are contained in this box, I'm still bullish on Ethereum for 5k, 55 prices, 5,500 rather. So as long as we are contained in this box, there's no reason to be bearish just yet on Ethereum, right? So, and we having this tap into this box and putting a little bit pump before last week candle close seems quite bullish too, right? So as long as I contain that box, we are still bullish on Ethereum. So for H12, if I want to long, right, it's still a good long here, right? For long term, not day traders per se. For a day trader, the risk to reward will not be favorable because the stops will be way wide, right? So, but if you want to buy and hold, I still think it's still a good spot to get in. You know, your invalidation on it to be when we start to go below 3,270, 3,280 area. That's the invalidation on the trade. So as long as we're above that, Ethereum is still bullish for good to go for 5k, 5.5, and possibly 6k. So if I want to take this for as a day trader, I would love us to have price close above 4,220 area, right? Which is this bearish order block. So right, and the 12 close above here will be good for a continuation or to get in again. Right, so if that happens, ideally your invalidation will be somewhere around 2000 3950 area, 950k rather. Right, so that's the bullish scenario for Ethereum, and that comes in confluence with Bitcoin going above the um other block, the bearish order block we mapped. Right, so if that happens on BTC, this most likely happens on Ethereum. Right, if not, we just reject and still stall inside the box. If not, we just do something like this and possibly trade maybe deeper into the box. Right, but for the bullish scenario, BTC close above the H12 bullish order block, then this goes above here too. It's pretty easy. So for alts, right, like I said before, DEX is where the traction is. Right, so for Asta, let me see. For Asta, right, the structure doesn't look bad. Right, structure still looks good. So what I mean is, we have this H12 bullish order block, right? Price tapped into it and I seen a little bounce. So I still think we come and take 2.5, then possibly tag 3. Let me pull out my Fibonacci. Oh shit. Alright, so possibly tag 2.4, 2.5 area, then $3. Right, so those are my targets. Right, invalidation on this ideally is below here. Right, as long as we are contained in this box, I don't see any reason to be bullish on that target, regardless of whatever narrative is flying on the TL. I don't think there's any reason to be bearish here. So anywhere around there is your buy. Target is 2.5, $3. And if it, excuse me. And if it goes further, then no problem. It's definitely going to go further on the long term because it has the potential to do so fundamentally. But my technical say are good to buy, are good to go. Is a good buy around here. If validation below the box at 2.2 or 2.3, targets 2.5, 2.2 and $3 rather. So that was we have this H12, then we also have this H1 bullish order block here, which is what I showed at the beginning of the video. Right, so is what's a short here. If it stops you out, you wait for the next setup. As long as we are contained here, can give you multiple tries, as many tries as possible. Aye. Okay, this was the setup. So H12 for that block plus H1 other block. So we'll see if this one holds. Maybe possibly by later in the day. See how it plays out. If it stops me out, then I'll wait for the next setup and give it another shot again. So that was that for. So Asta is one of the coins I'm closely monitoring and I'll be actively trading. So last week I also mentioned Zora. I mentioned Zora last week, but I don't think that pumped really. Let me see. Okay, Yeah, Zora and Hype too. Hype is one I'm looking at. I will get into that later. So Zora, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? So for Zora, we although we didn't really bounce from the spot I alerted last week, but last week we didn't bounce from there, but it's still that area is still holding. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was the area I mapped out last week in last week's video, and that area is still holding. So one thing, right? I think I mentioned this too in the last video. To catch momentum plays or to catch trends, right? Is ideally to wait for it to flip. If not all the time, but the best play is to wait for it to flip the EMA 21 on H4. Once it flips it, any pullback into it would be the continuation play, right? Like this one now, this Zora, although we bounced from the H4 level that I mapped, although it was below the moving average, but we saw price pushed above it. So for continuation plays, right, I would look for price to trade towards the moving average and bid it for continuation. What the fuck? Why are you not giving me my squiggles? And bid it for continuation. Fuck you, bro. Right? Pull back towards the moving average. This white line is a moving average. EMA 21. Exponential moving average. 21 days. Right? Exponential moving average 21 days. So H4 close above it. Any pullback towards it would be the continuation play. To most likely hold for the continuation play. It's pretty much simple. So that's one thing I use to catch continuation plays, at least for this market. This is our current market condition. So this one, if probably you missed this one, you can just wait for. Why the fuck are you giving me a problem, bro? You can just wait for a pullback towards the moving average, then you bid. So let me move this first. Let me hide this. So to make the image clear. So in this scenario, in this situation, right, any pullback towards this moving average will also come in line with this. We have an H4 bullish breaker block here. So any pullback towards the moving average will also come in line with pulling back towards the H4 bullish breaker, right? And a bullish breaker is where you want to long from. I don't know if that's clear. So if you made the first play, you could easily take that. So H4 bullish breaker plus moving average retest is a good long. So that's two signal already. So something like this would be your setup. Ideally validation below here. Then I just say 3 hard if you're using a fixed target or whatever target, or you want to use your SR levels, right? So that's what the setup will look like for Zora. Then let me see, should I touch? Okay, hype. So lastly, hype. For this one, one of the major reasons why I have my eyes on hype is because there's been comparison made that been flying around with hype and Asta. So in simple terms, I feel the hype team will not just allow it to keep going down. They want to maybe prove a point or something, and at least push the drive price up. More like Asta is a competition. I don't know if that makes sense. My FA knowledge is not top notch like that, but you should get my points already. So hype is one that I think will trade higher to this week. All right. So although I'm long already, I've been long, but for entries using the same templates that I gave for Zora, right? Any pullback to the moving average, right, would be a long. So if we have pullbacks to the moving average, it will come in confluence with pullback to this H4 bullish order block. So we have this H4 order block, this down candle for a series of up move that break market structure. So we have this H4 order block. So if we're lucky to get another pullback into that, it will come in line with having the pullback to the moving average and also having the pullback to the H4 order block. So that would, if you are lucky enough to get that would be a very good long to take too. So I think that's pretty much everything for today. So for targets on Nasdaq, for on high product, I think we'll take out $60 most likely. If we have a pump, we should most likely take out $60. So the video already exceeded 20 minutes, so that'll be all for now. I'll update later on if there are any changes, probably on Twitter and Telegram. So kindly give the video a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Let's get to 100. We're still at 94. I think 94 or 93. We're at 94, I think. So let's get to 100. Baby steps, but we'll get to 100. From 100, target 1,000 and 10,000. But for now, let's get to 100. So click on the subscribe button, guys. See you guys in the next video.